Pride is sneaky. It doesn't announce itself with sirens or flashing lights. It whispers, quietly, seductively, until one day we look in the mirror and don't recognize who we've become. The worst part? Pride often grows where no one sees it, inside the mind. And by the time it spills into our words and actions, the damage is already underway. The truth is, if we don't learn to stay humble, we risk losing the very things that matter most: relationships, purpose, peace, and even our connection with God. So, how do we actually fight something as invisible and deceptive as pride? Let's break it down. First, let's be clear. Pride isn't just a bad habit, it's sin. Jesus himself said in Mark 7 that pride comes from within and defiles a person. It sits on the same list as murder, theft, and deceit. That's not a casual comparison. Biblically, pride means having a swollen view of yourself, thinking you're better than others, more deserving, more important. It's not confidence. It's arrogance. And it distances you from others and from God. Now, confidence gets a bad rap in this conversation. But godly confidence isn't pride. In fact, Hebrews 4:16 says we should come boldly before God's throne. Why? Because he invites us there. That's not arrogance, that's relationship. Pride says, "Look at what I've done. I don't need anyone." But godly confidence says, "Look at what God has given me. And if I need more, I know exactly where to go." So how do we develop true humility without falling into insecurity or false modesty? It starts with changing how we see ourselves, others, and our purpose. Step 1. Look at yourself through God's eyes. James 4:10 says, "Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up." That phrase is key in the sight of the Lord. You see, we often try to fight pride by mentally beating ourselves up. I'm not smart. I'm not strong. I'm not good enough. But ironically, that still centers everything around you. The focus is still on your abilities, or lack of them. Real humility begins when we stop obsessing over ourselves and start recognizing the greatness of God. When you understand that every strength, talent, and opportunity you have is a gift from Him, pride starts to lose its grip. You realize you're not self-made, you're grace-made. God doesn't ask us to hate ourselves to be humble. He asks us to see ourselves accurately, deeply loved, purposefully made, and completely dependent on Him. Step 2. Look at others through God's eyes. In John 13, Jesus, God in human flesh, washed the dirty, calloused feet of His disciples. Think about that. The Creator of the universe knelt with a towel and basin, washing the feet of men who would soon betray Him, deny Him, and walk away. And then He said, "Love one another as I have loved you." If pride causes us to look down on people, humility requires us to get beneath them, to serve them. Jesus didn't just preach love, He embodied it through service. He didn't wait for people to be worthy. He saw brokenness and responded with compassion. So if you struggle with pride, serve. Volunteer. Sacrifice. Get your hands dirty doing something that benefits someone else. You cannot maintain a posture of pride when you're kneeling to help another human being. Here's the hard truth. We've turned church into a spectator sport. We sit, we rate the music, we critique the sermon. But church isn't a performance, it's a mission. And the mission is people. If Jesus died for them, what are you willing to do for them? Step 3. Look at your ministry, your purpose, through God's eyes. The Apostle Paul wrote, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." That wasn't an Instagram caption, it was a deathbed reflection. This was a man who endured beatings, shipwrecks, hunger, and betrayal, all for the sake of serving others and glorifying God. Why? Because he understood that life is short, and ministry isn't a title, it's a calling. You don't have forever. None of us do. The clock is ticking, and one day you won't have the chance to encourage your family, to help your neighbor, or to share your story. Pride wants you to spend your time thinking about how amazing you are. Humility says, let's get to work. Here's the bottom line. You stay humble by shifting your focus away from yourself toward God and outward to others. It's when you read Scripture and realize how great God is. It's when you pray and remember that the King of the universe listens to you. It's when you choose to rest in God's grace instead of your own abilities. And when that shift happens, pride has no room to grow. In its place comes something far more powerful: humility grounded in love and confidence rooted in the one who never fails. So stay humble. Not because it's trendy, not because it makes you likable, but because everything you care about, your relationships, your peace, your impact, depends on it. Stay humble or lose everything. If you found this video meaningful and interesting, drop a comment below and share your experience. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find this content useful. And as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.